Alrighty then. Everything's set up. The game's going to be turned on here in a second. This is a new little series we got here. My camera's a little bit lower than it normally is, but that's okay. So, and it's a little late. It's like 12 o'clock, but that's okay. So we got a new game. It just released today. The artist that did Doki Doki actually helped make this. So, on that note, should make things done. Makes things a bit easier on me. And this is where we get started. The game literally just came out today, so I don't know. Don't think it's gonna have many people watching it. Come on. It's just like not wanting to work. This is only episode 1 of oh my god. That was loud. This takes a lot of, apparently takes a lot to run. Okay, so this is National Park Girls. Hi Lachlan, welcome. But we got a new thing. It's made by the same person. Well, art's by the same person that made the art for Doki Doki. And I saw them tweet about it, that their game releasing in like 2 days. So I was like, okay, might as well try something new. But yeah, Satchel's got great artwork, so we're gonna get right into it. It does have voice acting, so you'll be able to hear all of it.
Sorry, sweetie. It's stuck. Can't go any lower than that.
Is that right?
I click down on the switch, sputtering rumble coughs from the window, vibrating beneath the rushing wind as it rips through the car. Click up on the switch, the window slides the rest of the way up with a smooth purr. I click down again, smooth purr, it stops halfway. Sputtering rumble.
Yep. There's actually a funny story about that.
Jesse laughs guiltily, waving it off with a shrug and a smile.
I forgot what it was.
We smack a bump in the road, the car jolts up, tossing me into the door. I glance in the side mirror as we drive away from a pothole. Ugh.
Every problem in this park has a story. And there's a lot of stories.
The park makes do with what it has, Eve. We're resourceful that way.
I roll my eyes, and she gives a reassuring grin. But her reflection, a stupid broken window, tells a different story. One of concern, rivers of coffee, and a decade of overwork. There might even be a small wrinkle encroaching on her cheerful round face, but I don't dare say anything. I'm quippy, but I don't have a death wish. Not yet. Yosemite. This time of year, There's a mixture of green and white. Where the winter snow still speckles. I guess, yeah. Snow still speckles the peaks of stone gray mountains and blends into spring's revived trees. I close my eyes and let the whistling wind blow into my face. And for a second, I almost feel like a little girl again, riding the back of Dad's pickup truck as we zip down the road to Tioga Pass, anxious to explore the next trail. But right as I remember the smell of sweet, fresh air, a van speeds past us, leaving a trail of toxic fumes. The memory is ripped away. Feeling your exhaust resembles similarly gray sky. And I have to wonder, if a storm cloud forms, but it doesn't rain, is it still filled with water? Or is it just hollow? Static crackles out of the radio.
Situation 1 has been resolved. Over.
She peels the mic off the dash, one hand on the wheel as she shifts to her supervisor buzz.
10-4. Fill me in on the details.
The reports ended up being at 10:56. White male, early 50s. He was stumbling around when I got there. Stopped discharging his firearm as soon as he saw me pull up. Looked like he was shooting at some bottles.
I scoff. Don't even try to hide it. Jesse shoots me a narrow look.
No altercation. But he didn't need to take a breathalyzer for me to know he was wasted. He's in custody now.
I can mostly see the bags sketch themselves under Jesse's eyelids as she heaves a deep sigh.
It's only paperwork. All right. Thanks, Ernie. I'll be pretty late, so you can have the yogurt in the fridge while filling out the report.
Wait, you still with the porcupine?
Oh. My teeth grit against each other. My shoulders stiffen.
Tell him, girl, we already miss her moods. Hope those Tulumne campers have a good dental.
I reach over and rip the mic from Jesse.
Shut your mouth, Hernandez, or else it's gonna be your fat ass who needs the extra dental work.
Jesse wrestles the radio away from me as Ernie crackles over the radio.
Just have that report on my desk by tomorrow. Over.
I'm still trying to grab the radio by the time she throws it back on the dash, groaning. Across my arms, and stare thousands of tiny daggers out the window.
Jeez. You know they're just trying to get a rise out of you. Why do you always take the bait?
Because if they actually cared about their jobs, they'd be angry too. Not that it matters.
At this point, I'm not even sure I care anymore.
It's not everyone, Eve. There are people out there who still care.
Who? The campers? Because I can show you some rocks and trees that a certain artist thought made a good canvas.
Porcupine. She's gonna hate you so much. I saw the urge to spit.
That kind of stuff doesn't get fixed overnight.
Shadow cast over Jesse's piercing glare.
Neither did his fractured jaw or your suspension.
I slump back into my seat. Feelings of shame and or regret are completely absent. Also, all that's there is the gnawing emptiness that always snakes up to my chest and lingers there. Jesse's face softens. The tender expression reminds me of pity.
What happened to you? You used to be such a cute cadet.
What? I'm not still cute?
Oh. I flutter my lashes, then roll my eyes. Normally back talk like this would get anyone from any profession fired, and secretly I hope it does.
It's that attitude of yours. I remember when you were energetic and determined.
She shows me.
Be like that again.
They beat that out of me a while ago.
She frowns for a moment. Then she grips the wheel and straightens a smile onto her face. Her dimples look like tight drums.
Then let's see if we can cram some of that back in.
By a transfer?
Ooh.
By a change of pace. You'll love the meadows. It's a little chilly this time of year, but you can bundle up in the cabin. Which you'll have all to yourself, by the way. You can thank Ranger Smith's gin habit for that.
And the camping population?
Jessie bites her lip. Her eyes dart across the road.
Don't think you're clever. We used to visit Tuolumne every summer when I was a kid. I know they have a campground there.
She relents with a sigh.
It's mostly hikers and mountain climbers right now, since the road's just opened. But I'm sure they'll come piling in as it warms up. I expect you to do your job.
Great. More babysitting.
Remember what you signed up for.
Trust me, I do. Or I did before I realized the park was just the public's dumping ground.
That's why the National Park Service exists. We can't protect every square inch of land, but we can manage parts of it.
Ugh.
If only. For most of these people, the parks are just toll roads. They pay to get drunk for a few days. They'll sit around the campfire and talk about how much they connect with nature, and maybe even write poetry about it. And then they'll leave the fire smoldering, forget to pick up their trash, and leave.
Jessie cringes, audibly swallows. She stares at me with this uncomfortable gaze, like something ugly she can't look away from. And the truth is, ugly. So fine, let her. She puts on another one of her smiles.
Well, that's why we're
here, right? That's our job. Enforcing the law to protect the land. But who are we protecting it for?
Sir Jessie with flat eyes, waiting for an answer I know it will never come. Likewise, she side-eyes me, waiting as the radio occasionally crackles with a report.
The same people who are destroying it.
I lean back into my seat and I stare out the window.
And where's the justice in a job like that?
Sun pokes through an opening in the clouds, but I see a sea of gray swallows it soon after. Jessie says nothing. I hear first fist squeeze around the rubber grip of the steering wheel. Michael pops in silence. We pass a clearing, and the forest that's been trailing up until now stops in the distance. I spot the smooth stone peak of Lambert Dome. Sometimes... Oh, man. Gotta make sure my thingy's doing its thing. Okay, cool, it is. Okay, sometimes we would make that hike when I was a kid. When we reached the top, I always felt like it discovered a higher perspective. Everything seemed so small, and the answers seemed so clear. And I wonder, if I stood up there now, would it be the same? Is what I do important? Does protecting this land and preserving its dignity serve any purpose? If not, does anything? By the time we begin passing families of pop-up tents and lawn chairs, the sky is dimmed to a deep gray. Silvers of blood orange, red glow out from pockets of open sky. We hook left and take a short beaten path. The tires crunch over the dirt and gravel that stops. Jessie twists off the ignition, birds chirp in the fresh silence that only breathes through the air when the beetles.
We're here.
I'm out of the car before she even finishes dragging my luggage out from the back. Arcing into a stretch, I take my first unobstructed look into the cabin. It's a modest building, guarded by a crowd of trees that extend far into the air, lumbering over the pointed roof. Nearly every inch of the cabin is built with the same sanded down wood. It's inoffensively smooth. Tree bark has more texture.
Not too small for you, is it?
Jessie walks up beside me, twirling the keys around her finger. I glance over my shoulder. The campground is hidden behind a thick row of trees. Small glimpses of tents poke out from behind them.
Nah, it's perfect.
The wood creaks under our boots as we climb up the steps.
There's another station nearby, but they mostly oversee boring bureaucratic stuff. They'll leave you alone, but you might have to hand out permits if they're ever out for lunch or something.
Do I have discretion?
Not a chance, sweetie.
Aww. She shoots me down with with a song in her voice and a spring in her step.
Knowing you, you'd tell them to jump in the lake before ever letting them fish in it.
She's got me there. The musty smell of damp wood. Musty smell of damp wood wafts, whatever, into my nostrils as she opens the door.
Ooh, cozy.
She flips on the lights and steps aside.
That's one word for it.
Oh, roasted. You put that in the admin's chat, bro. Gosh. Here, look. Oh, okay. General. You put it... Where'd you put that at? Oh, there it is. Okay. You sent me the campfire song. I got you now. I'm so stupid. I was like, huh? That's one word for it. Okay. My face betrays my sarcasm, though, as a smile creeps over me. It reminds me of a shoebox diorama. All of the space is utilized, and everything is exactly where it should be. From the fluffed up bed nestled in the corner to the fireplace built with rock. There's not even a TV, just a rocking chair and a lived-in leather couch that sits around the coffee table. She slides her fingers down the desk, then squints as she rubs it against her thumb.
Huh, not as dusty as I thought it'd be.
Maybe Ranger Smith liked chugging Windex, too.
Oh! I drop my bags. Throws me my hat at the couch. It misses and lands offside on the floor.
Not unless he snuck back recently.
The hardwood floor bends beneath my weight as I explore the rest of the cabin, wandering off to inspect the stone fireplace. An unburned log sits on a pile of ash. Cobwebs weave around the well-swept corners and polished floors, as if they were intentionally avoided. This place is clean, but whoever the neat freak is must not have any guts. Fuzzy spattered trapeze from the ceiling. I look to make sure Jesse isn't looking, then give it a tiny wave as the pendulum's in front of me. My voice drops into a whisper.
Hi.
What was that?
Nothing.
With a quick swing, the spider leaps away from me, landing in the middle of the trio of paintings hung on the wall above the dining table. Arranged in a triangle, each painting showcases gorgeous landscapes and scenic vistas. Motivation scribble in the corner, no artist's signature. Yosemite, Zion, Yellowstone. That's Yellowstone is the one right over here. Zion, and then top one is, okay. All national parks, and all beautiful. The spider crawls along the painting of Zion, and this one, lush greenery sprawls. Lush greenery sprawls out into a deep valley below, guarded on both sides by fiery red cliffs and mountains. The Yellowstone painting is of a winding trail spiraling to the top of a mountain. Splotches of vibrant trees are scattered across the ridge mountainside. Beyond it, flat plains stretch out into the distance before dipping into a canyon. Oh, we have a Sundari. I was slow on that. Aw. I didn't notice until you said something, all honesty. I wasn't fully paying attention. And finally, above them is Yosemite. I know exactly what this painting is of. You only need to take a few steps outside to see it. It's a breathtaking view from top Lambert Dome, overlooking all the Tuolumne Meadows, and the thick forest to the Tuolumne River. It winds all the way to the snow-speckled peaks of the Sierra Mountains. I've hiked up there so many times before. I could probably point out exactly where we are. God. Wish I was up there now. I would scream my guts out, scream until I was hoarse. No one would even hear me. This might be my favorite of the three, but something feels off about it. Oh, that's a big. Ah. Okay, we're gonna turn down the voice volume a little bit. After a bit more squinting and head tilting, I decided that this painting is too crooked for its own good. The frame is so off-center that if there were a hiker in this painting, they'd plummet to their deaths. With a soft grip, I grabbed the side of the painting and began to delicately, slowly, gently straighten. A sharp squeak rattles through the air, so loud I can feel it in the floorboards. Shivers crawl up my spine as I nearly leap out of my...
Jeez, so jumpy.
Jiggling, Giggling, Jessie squeezes past the dining table and rests against the counter.
It's just the cabin settling. This place is old, so it's gonna be a little noisy.
Her voice drops an octave. All I was missing is a flashlight below her face.
Kind of spooky, huh?
Not really.
Cabin squeaks again, my shoulders tense. Jessie grins, thoroughly entertained.
Some of the past rangers stationed here always said it was haunted. Personally, I think it was just something in the coffee.
Ooh. She picks up her percolator. What? Off the stove, it rattles it around, flipping open the lid. She. Oh, I didn't mean to say that, man. She pulls out a small bottle of bottom shelf gin.
Our tax dollars at work.
Just be happy we're not privatized yet. Make sure to recycle this later.
She hands me the bottle and tampers off towards the cabin. I set it back down on the counter and fall behind.
Question. When was the last time you were at the range?
To shoot? God, I don't know.
Scratching my head, I think back to the last time I unholstered my sidearm. Despite the faint temptation of being surrounded by obnoxious campers, it's about as rare as an eclipse.
About a year ago, I guess, when you dragged us all down there on our day off to practice.
She unlocks the cabinet, leaving the key in as she opens the door. A slender gun leans against the back.
An off day for you guys, maybe. I'd kill to just have one weekend off.
The words slip out of her, and as soon as they do, she glances at me, then the gun.
I didn't mean, like... You know I won't actually.
I stare straight through her as she fumbles around with her words. She coughs.
Anyway, what we have here is your standard issue pump-action Remington 870. Also known as a shotgun.
Bright sheen glistens off the gun, with the butt and the pump sharing the same glossy wooden finish.
Fancy. This actually doesn't look like it'll fall apart in my hands.
My eyes drift to the desk radio that was assuredly used by Navajo code breakers in World War II.
Count on the DOI to have their priorities straight. When have I ever turned down new equipment?
Judging by the bedroom, she's giving the gun, I think the answer is pretty clear.
Still, this is a bit excessive. I don't need this much heat for grunt work.
Sidearm and a shotgun? What is this? The 4th of July? Ooh.
It's just a precaution. Hopefully you never have to use it. It's not like everyone is asking you to carry it around on patrol, which I expect you to do every day.
Can I do that before sunrise? So I don't have to talk to anyone, ever?
Oh.
Absolutely not.
Ah.
I will not allow you to be a weird forest hermit under my watch. You need to have some positive experiences, okay?
My mind blanks out into a field of static as Jessie's tangent gains more momentum. As my thoughts wander, I start to hear more noises. The creaking of the cabin, the howling of the wind, then actual howling. Wait, actual howling? Jessie heard it, then she's ignoring it. As her ranting continues to go places entirely unrelated to the mishap. Scratching begins to scuff at the door. At first, it's as soft as a whisper, and could maybe even be a branch of leaves. The longer it goes on, the faster it gets, and soon it's desperately clawing into the wood. I break away from Jesse's, tiptoeing to the
Hey,
door.
don't walk away. I'm scalding.
Shh.
I show with my finger to my lips. Go silent. Little coyote. I look down and come face to face with the love of my life. An adorable puppy. Aw, it's a puppy. It's not a freaking puppy ears barely reaching my ankles. Pants in front of me. Oh, wait, okay. Its small paws scratching my boots.
Oh my god, buddy.
I drip to one knee, my heart melts as I stroke its soft fox red fur.
What are you doing here, pup? Huh? Are you lost?
As if answering me, he gives me a tiny howl, but it breaks into a yelp. With a whine, he snuggles into my knee. I'm dead. This is heaven, and I'm dead.
Eve, get away from that.
Sprinting across the room, Jesse charges at the door. I did my best meta no impression and dive out of the way.
Shoo! Shoo! Get out of here! Get!
You're a monster.
What the hell? He wasn't doing anything. You scared him.
Good. Maybe it'll stay away then.
I go there, Jesse. I think she's the devil's incarnate. I'm exactly like her. I'm like, oh my god, you monster. Because she is.
Don't give me that look.
I reinforce my gaze with more steel.
Orphaned coyote pup. Started coming around the camp, and Smith, in his infinite wisdom, decided to feed it.
He's gone, hiding somewhere in the shadows as the sky darkens. I'll need to sit out on this for him later.
Don't.
Yes. This skulls me with a single whack of a finger. Shooting on my.
Say anything.
But you thought it. And if you have any sense, you'll...
Pauses and glances, glancing up as the last glimpses of my snuffed out.
I'll lecture you another day. But for now, I have to get back to the station. Before Hernandez eats all the yogurt.
Oh, God.
Jake has asked for me.
I stared out at the scuff marks on my boots, checked with dirt and dust from all 1,200 miles of the park. Not nearly as polished or shined as Jesse's or even that gun.
What's wrong? I thought you loved dirty jokes.
It's nothing. I'm fine.
The far reaches behind the cover of the trees, I see an orange glow of campfire. Muffled chatter and laughter of the campers carries from across the woods. A tender smile spreads across Jessie's face. She sweeps me under her arm and into a hug. I think of breaking away, but her gentle warmth is nice. It's kind of cold out.
You're going to do fine, sweetie.
Yeah, until I bust open the next guy.
I rest my forehead against her badge. The edge is digging into my skin.
Hey, don't think like that. I didn't vouch for you because I thought you make the same mistake twice. You're a good ranger, Eve. If more of us were like you and cared more about what's around us and less about our pensions, then the Force would be better off. This will be good for you. If you can straighten yourself out here, then you can do anything. So try to have some fun, okay?
Okay.
I go roll it out. She has too much faith in me. Maybe all of that was true at some point, but now I can't take or leave the pension in the land. None of it matters. Not to the wigs at the top, not to the public, and not to me. Jesse swings an arm around me and walks us to the truck.
And besides, I'm just a radio call away if you ever miss me. I'll call every day to check in.
Yay. Can't wait.
Ooh. She comes to the truck and starts it up. The revving of the engine is so loud, I expect it to shake off all the rust that's carved itself into the bumper.
No slacking off now.
She drops the keys in my hand and shuts the door. That's like streaking the night air, beaming against the silhouetted cabin. Window rolls down, all the way down. Rolls down, all the way down. With a confident smirk, Jessie tips the brim of her hat.
And Eve, you're wrong.
What? It might have actually been pointed. That was the last thing she said before leaving. But it hadn't even been 10 minutes when she drove back and barged to the door in a panic. She left the key to the station on the lanyard she gave me, and the key to the library, and the key to the toll booth for the south entrance. I swear, Teddy. How seriously that woman takes her work, she has no right to be as airy as she is. Anyway. But
And Eve?
Though I guess I'd start to slip a little too if I were working in a stream of hours and got as little acknowledgement as she does. After 4 years, it's hard not to respect her. There's not a moment where she isn't on call, or filling in for someone, or blazing through reports, yet somehow she manages to stay as bubbly as a dish of soap. I can't English. How is she able to stay so peppy and motivated? I can't figure it out. I doubt I ever will. Anyway, that's enough about Jessie. I swear I write about her at least twice a week. Let's talk about my newly assigned post, Teddy. The cabin itself is fine. Definitely more my pace than where I was before. Furniture is old and cheap. Perfect. I'm looking to the last bit of rain for the season, so I can feel the warmth of the fireplace and listen to the raindrops patter against the roof as I doze off on that lumpy couch. If it weren't for the circumstances, it might even be a dream come true. But in the end, I know why I'm really here. Deep down, regardless of her comforting words, Jessie knows why I'm here too. Teddy, the fact of the matter is this. I'm here because I snarked off one too many times, cracked one too many jaws. I can't choke back the last speck of pride about what it is I do. What? That makes me a problem. No matter how hard I try, I can't detach myself. Not completely. There's still a small spark, and all I want is to snuff it out. That's why I'm here, for penance and training. Call it what you will, a new post, a live-in job, but I know what it really is, purgatory. A pen hovers over above the page, inches from carving my thoughts into stone. Once that happens, they can't be taken back. It's a scary thought. Sighing, I drop the pen and reach for my mug. But instead of the lukewarm coffee I've come to tolerate, all that's left is a brown ring crusted around the bottom. I stretch out my chair and let out my longest yawn, at least 20 minutes, maybe even 30. I drag my carcass to the stove and pour myself the last of the coffee from the... I can't read, apparently. Percolator? Whatever. Steam rises from the mug. The coffee is thick and sludges around like a motor oil. Overcooked and bitter. It almost tastes like it too. But I'm not a snob. Coffee is still coffee. Even if a gas station could whip up a better brew. Percolator works as well as anything else. Besides, there's charm in that, isn't there? Enjoying things that are inferior and outdated. I'm forced to stare at my reflection as I sip coffee, but it soon turns into a foggy murk, and I can't see anything. What's all that oil seeping to the surface? A gross thought. but it doesn't matter as long as it gives me the energy to keep going. Journaling is hard work, maybe even harder than working for the Park Service. Originally, it was just a way to get out all the energy that was bubbling around inside of me. Butterflies. Hope for the future. Dreams of making the park experience even better. But that eagerness morphed into a slow realization, and over time, that morphed into whatever I am now. Journaling became time for sharp, focused reflection. It was a good way to cope. Some people drink, some people get high. I complain about everything to a notebook. By now, I at least have a dozen of them filled out. Tell you volumes 1 to 12. I like to think they all share the same consciousness. The cup warms my hand as I lean against the counter. The wind kicks the cabin, and if I listen closely, I can hear night's nocturnal whispers from outside, chirping from crickets, steady shaking of leaves. Makes me realize just how thin of a barrier from the outside world this place is. Cramped, fenced-in box. The only thing keeping me from the darkness that's out there is a few dim lamps. A small choir of laughter and chatter echoes from outside. Reality decides to give me a slap in the face as I open the curtains, and peer through the window. A group of 4 shadowy figures trip and wobble through the brush. One of them falls flat on their face. They laugh even harder than before. Speaking of needing a barrier from the outside world, I step over to the desk and snatch the flashlight. As I march over to the door, I remember that I've changed out my uniform into tattered jeans and flannel. Hardly authoritarian. I reach over the couch and grab my hat. Better. The brisk air kisses me as I swing open, then switch on the flashlight. I shine the beam right in their faces. They freeze like deer about to be mowed down by an oncoming semi. Their laughter quits to hushed chuckles, and no one with half the brain tells them to shut up. One of them stashes their bottles in their coat. The one up front, the smart one, squints at me through the light. His shoulders relax. Throws me a casual way.
Oh, hey! Are you on break too? Wanna hang?
A dozen more of these kids could mistake me for another student their age. They still wouldn't stop me from lobotomizing them with my eyes. I slip on my hat and stay silent. The Old Testament fear of the Abrahamic God shadows his face. They all
Do you
shrink
know
back.
how many people go missing out here?
What?
I said, do you know how many people disappear in these parts annually?
He looks to his friends for an answer. They shake their heads. He looks back to me and shakes his head. The entire group shakes their heads together.
I'm sorry. I don't...
His hands are raised in surrender. Embers of a cigarette glowing between his fingers.
Another question.
Yes, ma'am!
Our voices bounce across the words.
You know how much paperwork I have to do if one of you has so much steps on a pine cone.
Is it... a lot?
His friends nod. He nods back.
Yeah, a lot, right?
Let's just say it's more work than you've probably turned in this entire semester.
Ooh. I gets a laugh from one of his buddies. He shuts up as soon as I shine the light on him.
Do me a favor and stumble back to camp, okay? I'd rather not have to explain to my supervisor how you all fell off a cliff.
The 2 girls hidden behind the others give me a dirty look. The kind idiots give to fast food workers when they're told that they're out of fries. I turn the flashlight up to the highest setting. They all let out a collective groan as they shield their eyes.
Go on, you heard me. You can bum around all you want once the sun comes up.
I point the light at the path back and brighten the way. Takes a few steps back and gives me a gracious nod.
Sure thing. Sorry for the trouble. Have a good night.
I won't, but thanks.
Ooh. They follow the beam of light back to the path. One of them makes sure to flip me off along the way. I switch off the light as they disappear into the brush of trees. But they all actually do fall off a cliff. Twerps. As I turn to go inside, a spike of movement rustles in the bush. My body goes numb. I freeze, only allowing my eyes to drift over to the source. Nothing. Turning around, I creep forward, reaching for the sidearm that isn't there. I step into the dirt, porch creaking behind me. The bush shakes with a surge of movement. A ball of fur explodes through the leaves. This paws scrape across the ground before skidding to a stop at my feet. Bubber, raw. Breathing out, I sigh of relief. I bend over to greet my prince.
Decided to come back, huh? Couldn't resist my charm.
His shoes pin back as I scratch the scruff of his neck. He almost looks deranged while I pat. His goofy looking pupils struggling to center with the whites of his eyes.
You're an unbelievably giant torque.
The ear flops over. My heartstrings, they could play the fiddle.
This isn't fair. I might seriously die.
I glance over at the empty food dish near the door. He ate every bite. He has to be sleepy by now. Just look at his belly. It's so round and cute and pink. I'm going to die from this. I just know I am. It doesn't take much to coax him in. All I have to do is stand aside and the pup sprints inside on his own, hitting every piece of furniture like a pinball.
I usually offer coffee first.
He nearly somersaults across the floor, and my dusty laugh actually gets some use for once. A gust of chilling wind breeze past me. It lifts up my hat, but I grip it back on in time. Strains off my hair fly in the same direction. Trees sway violently, shaking their branches like angry fists. Clouds curtain the last silver of the moon, submerging the woods in a darkness deeper than any sleep. The cold seeps into the notches of my spine. Shuddering, I rub the warmth back into me, locking the door on the way inside. Like thunder, Pup runs up to me as I enter. Then like lightning, he bolts back onto the couch. I grab a pillow from the bed and meet Pup at the couch. His front legs stay perched on the back. Oh my goodness, that startled me. Thank you, Troy, for the follow. You scared the crap out of me. I grab a pillow from the bed, then meet Pup on the couch. His front legs stay perched on the back of the couch as he peers over it.
Oh, no you don't.
I snatch him up by the fat of his neck. He nips at my wrist, but it tickles more than anything. I drop the pillow, then drop Pup on top. First he tries to wiggle free, but I keep the pressure on his back. He eventually gets the message and lies down.
I'll get you something more comfortable soon.
My leg brushed against the coffee table as I get up. A stray magazine catches my attention.
Jeez, Jesse, did you leave this too?
Bag of lemongrass tea sits between the pages, acting as a bookmark. Did she not have anything else she could use at the time? Or was she just lazy? The cabin creaks with the blowing of the wind. Pup's ears stiffen and alert as he quietly gazes out the door. I look down at the magazine. A map of the park is paired with the article. Every exit to the park is circled in red. Wrapping up your stay, living gives life. Night breezes right past me. Every time I look up, the clock has passed another hour, and the gap only grows larger. In the corner, Pup gnaws at his ankle. His teeth chatter as he tries to chew the fleas off his skin. I flip through the thick stack of pages I've written on tonight, weigh them between my fingers. Not a bad way to break in a new journal. The soothing smell of fresh primer puffs out at me as I fold shut. Dawn slips out of me as I shamble over the bookcase to the bookcase. Ugh. Light reading before bed is never a bad way to end the night, especially eerie nights like this. Frosts settle around the edges of the window. Touch of fog strikes the glass, and looking into the darkness beyond it, it's like staring into the black of the pupil. Warmth and comfort flicker in my chest as I run my finger over the spines of every book. Accessing Yosemite, an atlas and guide. Best day hikes. Yosemite National Park. Corruption in the National Park Service. The Yosemite Mafia. Complete guide to the Yosemite National Park. Almost every book, brochure, and magazine here trails back to Yosemite, other parks, or the National Park Service itself, in one way or another. Even the few pieces of fiction can't escape it. Novels like The Yosemite or Yosemite Thunder. Yosemite. I don't know if that's right. Yosemite, whatever. Looking over the alphabetical ordered books, I start to notice gaps, missing volumes, spaces between books. The kind you see at libraries when something is checked out. Things only get more perplexing as I arrive at the bottom shelf. A giant cardboard box sits alone on the shelf, bursting with sacks of paper and folders. Bouncing at the very top is a pink folder with bright bubble letters drawn in crayon. Kawe Research. Tiny letters are crudely drawn squirrels into the rabbits. Some are colored in with precise strokes, never straying an inch outside the lines, but others are so wildly scribbled in and trail so far outside the lines. I'm pretty sure an 8-year-old coming off sugar I could do better. Okay. As I reach down to grab it, a drawn-out squeak sings from the kitchen. The distant sound of bending hinges sends my heart racing into my throat. That wasn't the cabinet settling. Pup bares his teeth. The vibrating growl rumbles out of his tiny body. He sounds primal and large. Like earlier, his ears pointed to the air. He stares at the corner, and I follow the direction of his snout. Closet. Just to skip away from it. The cupboard by the sink hangs open, still easy to stop. Hardwood floor bends beneath my feet as I walk over. Suddenly, I lose my traction. Feet slide out from under me as I slip towards the counter. Now, my forehead almost colliding with the sharp corner of the counter. I reach my hand out and grasp it. That scrapes across my palm.
That was a little too close.
Ooh. I could feel that too. It's like, sk. That's where I would think. I give Pup a stern look, but he's still fixed on the closet door.
Did you do this?
For once, I hope the gross answer is the correct one. But looking ahead, a trail of water leads to the closet, and I start to think I'm not that lucky. Muffled clips of noise whisper from behind the door, being breathing quickly. Quick bursts of movement, then hushing. My mind flashes back to what Jesse said today. About this place. A past rangers thought it might be haunted. No. Snap out of it, Eve. I set my cheeks and pushed the idea into the far reaches of my head. Meaning she did this on her. I'm bad at doing it, but you get the gist. There's only one explanation for this. One of those campers from earlier snuck in here somehow and was trying to give me a good scare. Yeah, that's all it is, of course.
What did I tell you morons about sneaking around?
My voice trying to muster up the same bravado my high school gym teacher always seems to have.
You're trespassing on federal property. That's serious stuff. Come out now and I won't slap cuffs on you.
Oh, he stops. I count the seconds in my head, but nothing slips out of the closet.
Fine. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Step over to the door, making sure my steps are loud enough for whoever is on the other side to feel. Twisting the knob, pull halfway open. Two pale eyes blink at me, poking from out beneath the yellowing sheet. Slam the door shut. Oh crap, I didn't actually expect someone to be in there. I guess there's the bang rattles in the closet. Another bang. There's a gunshot. The door opens from the hinges. I stumble back. My foot slips on another puddle, but I brace my leg. Somehow I'm standing. There's a final explosive bang. The door swings against the wall. The light in the cabin zaps off. Electricity surges down around me. Sudden darkness forces a scream out at me. I slap my hand over my mouth and swallow the back of the tear. They know where I'm at now. I breathe in quick, panic bursts in footsteps. And through the darkness, the form of a towering silhouette begins to take shape, looming in the doorway. Pup's growl devolves into a series of vicious barks. I stand my ground, puffing out my chest and sticking back my shoulders. I can't read. Ghost, intruder, bear, whatever it is, it's all I can think to do.
What do you want?
caught to the lingering shadow. The shape of its head tilts as if asked something unexpected.
Do not belong here.
Voice rings out in the darkness, gravely and dry, but also light, higher than I would have expected a demonic presence to sound. Not that I believe in it, it's a demonic presence or anything.
This is my post. And according to my supervisor, I do.
We do not concern ourselves with the laws of mortals.
We?
Then glow flickers from the closet, illuminating the figure in blood red. Water drips from their soaking hair, their bangs shadowing their eyes. They stand unnaturally straight, as stiff and dangly as a corpse. Colorful patterns weave around their leather clothes. Beads wrap around their neck. Girl? The ghost in the sheet hovers past her, floating in the air. Shivers tingles down my spine as it levitates several feet in front of me. This has to be a prank. I'm getting punked. Jesse and Ernie are in it.
Leave us to our resting place.
Yeah, I'm pooped.
A high-pitched, energetic voice shouts from the closet. A tall figure kicks her back leg. There's the up as a red light around her flickers for a moment and reappears. Thunder wind hammers. It's the cabin. A shout reverberates. The wood. Moan howls from the sheets. Sheet ghost muffled by the fabric, speaking the same way a child making ghost noises. Halloween is.
As much as I'd love to, and believe me, I would, I can't do that. I'm already on thin ice.
Tall figure stutters. While I can't see her eyes, I can make out a deep frown.
Are you trying to reason with a vengeful spirit? Do you have any idea how ridiculous that is?
Do you have any idea how ridiculous your request is?
That isn't my problem. Basic instinct prioritizes survival over income. You understand that, right? It's not complicated.
Ooh.
Basic instincts get written over by basic training. Besides, it's not about the money. You're not a very perceptive spirit, are you?
She shouts in her brooding, raspy voice, but it cracks apart and she breaks into a thick cough.
Just shut up, okay? Shut up!
Ooh. Bravado in her voice is all but gone. The vengeful spirit is now merely a frustrated one.
If you stay here, then whatever happens is going to be your own fault.
Her light behind her flares up, tinting the walls with a blazing glow. Pup sparks return with killing intent. The sheet ghost plunges at me through the air. Somebody forgot to lock it. Pull the hand on the doors. Yes, I knew I could always count on you, Jesse. Remind me to take you out for dinner if I don't die here. Shotgun still leans against the back of the cabinet, undisturbed and untouched. I reach for the up and grab it. No crashes in my chest. I hoist it into position. Adrenaline pumps through me. I push down the safe to wrap my fingers around the trigger. Strands of hair stick to my face. I stare down the barrel. My feet. The sheet ghost stares at me, now firmly on the ground, directly in my sights. My trigger finger shakes. I shake. The measure of my blood plummets, and my body freezes with cold sobriety. This isn't what I wanted from this job. I never wanted to hurt people, to point guns at them, or punch them in the face. All I wanted was to protect. Wait, the fabric draped over the ghost stretches back. Pup dances around its feet, his tail wagging as he tugs away the sheet like it's a game of tug-of-war. The sheet falls to the ground. Then you can see what, or rather who, is attached to those weary legs. Like a burglar caught in the act, she stands there, wide-eyed and trembling. Leaves rustle off her tiny beige dress, but there always seems to be more stuck to her. Even her long, brushed out hair has twigs and leaves shaped into a wreath, resting on top of her head. Or more interesting than all of that are the pair of wings protruding from her back, feathery and white like an angel's in the painting.
A kid?
A little one at that. I could scoop her up in both arms if I wanted to.
What on earth do you think you're doing?
The shadowy ghost stomps across the floorboards, making a beeline directly for me. Panicked, I shift the gun toward her, but she's already towering over me.
Not Another step.
Her green eyes glare at me. In their intense anger, they almost seem to glow as she grips her hand around the shotgun. I close my eyes and let my voice tumble into a shriek.
Get away!
My eyes snap open just in time to see her wrestle the gun from me.
I thought they taught you goons better than to go around and point these things at people.
She moves to remove the bolts from the chamber, except there are none.
And if you do, then make sure they're loaded. Did they hire you out of pity?
Ooh. I glance back into the cabinet. A small box of shells sits discarded on the counter. This is it. I'm dead. Probably what I deserve. The little girl, paler than the sheets she's wearing, looks up at the bigger ghost. Her eyes swell with tears. She gets a timid squeak and dashes behind her bigger friend. She wraps herself around her legs, content to stay only half hidden as she sniffles.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Zion.
She brings the little one in closer and frowns, watching small tears trickle down her cheeks. From far away, she looked like a creature from a horror movie. Unnatural blue hair with frosted white tips. Her entire body drenched in that red glow. After seeing her up close and watching the concern wash over her, she almost seems like a normal girl. Almost.
Zion? Yosemite? Just who are you people?
Her head twists back to me. My shoulders tense up, I scoot back, but there's nowhere else to go.
Silence, mortal. We have haunted these grounds long before you were here. Red light from the closet fades away. The lamp surges back on, along with the rest of the power. And we shall haunt them long after you've returned.
To the ground.
She pauses. I blink at her. She blinks at me.
Yellowstone?
Yeah, boss?
The closet answers back.
Wanna tell me why the lights are back on?
Well, 'cause I flipped them back on, duh.
Oh!
I can see that. But why?
I slowly reach for the gun. One chance to take it back. Maybe in the shelves
'Cause
too.
the jig's up. She's not buying it anymore.
Oh, I get what that's supposed to be. Oh my god. I'm blown away right now. That took me that long to realize that was a freaking... Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. The teenage girl snaps out of the closet. Her clothes are a colorful array of pastel, and her bright twin tails bounce up and down. She'd be the most normal-looking one out of all of them, if not for one distinct detail. Starting from the top of her head, like a mountain erupting from the ground, is a giant cone. Flattened to the top. Various shades of brown. It reminds me of a volcano from Child Science Project. It's a costume, a hat. Looks like it blends right into her hair.
See? She's already getting ready to flip your lid.
The bigger one glances back at me. In my confused days, I completely forgot about my hand hovering over the gun. Rolling her eyes, she yanks it away and slides to the other end of the room. She squats down with a flat stare. She gives me a flick on her forehead. A dull pain ripples through my skull.
I know you're eager to take my home away from me again, but let me sort this out first. Okay, gunslinger?
Oh! I soothe my forehead while grinding my teeth into fine powder.
No, not okay. How about you try doing that again?
Slimy grin squirms across her face, and she raises her hand, thumb, and finger ready. I brace for the next flick, but before it can come, Pup hops into my rescue. to rescue and lunges at her ankles. She stumbles away in time, but Pup stands his ground in front of me, snarling.
Good boy.
What did I ever do to you? I give you belly rubs and everything.
Oh. She whines. Pup howls. I think I love this little guy a little more with every passing minute.
Zion, sweetie, can you keep the fluff ball at bay for me?
The little girl, who has since retreated to the kitchen with her other friend, gives a quick nod. With a intense focus, she flaps her little wings and drifts across the room, patting her lap as she calls for Pup.
Hey, boy. Wanna play?
She puckers her lips to whistle, but only air comes out. When she realizes that won't work, she clicks her tongue. Digging into her hair, she untangles the twig and waves it around for all to see.
I grew a new stick for you. Please like it.
Pup's head snaps up. Snow melts into a smiling pant as she dashes over, completely forgetting about his duty to protect me.
This was a disaster.
Tall girl pinches the bridge of her nose. Sighs.
No small part thanks to your lack of commitment.
She turns to the one in the kitchen whose head is bobbing back and forth to him silently.
I was tired.
She limps over the counter and groans.
Oh, we've done this like a million times. It's the pits.
We do it because it works. That last guy rarely stepped foot in here after we gave him a good scare.
So, they really did think it was haunted.
That's because it is. Now go away.
Oh,
She's different. Dollface over there put up a fight.
Dollface. I'd be annoyed if this weren't so confusing.
I don't like her.
You don't like nobody.
It's a double negative.
She's Snoopy.
She gives me a suspicious eye. Feelings mutual. Conehead grabs me a tea kettle from the stove and skips over to us. It's a game.
That's kind of why I like her.
She opens the kettle's lid and holds it up to her tall friend. Tall one wrings out her hair like a wet rag. Water more than any sponge could retain flows into the kettle. When she stops, the water is near the top and her hair is bone dry. What the hell?
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, even if it's incorrect.
Fumes begin to wisp out from the opening at the top of Conehead. A red glow crackles beneath it. No, seriously, what the hell? Delicate, she balances the kettle on top of her head.
Lemongrass again?
Please, and don't sneak sugar in it this time.
Steam begins to rise from the spout of the kettle, followed by a simmering whistle. It gets louder and arguing drags on. Pup barks as he rushes across the room to fetch his stick. The steam grows thicker. As the noise builds and builds, I feel my blood boiling in my veins. Any fear I had has been suppressed by the intense need for some peace and quiet. For some clarification. Sure. For something to actually make sense for once. I climb to my feet and draw in as much air as my lungs can take.
Will somebody give me some answers?
Shadow fizzles out. The winged girl shrieks back, hugging Pup close to her chest. The kettle sounds like a train whistle, and all eyes are on me. Finally.
Now, will one of you tell me who exactly you people are? I've never heard of a ghost that can touch people. Or one having wings? Or whatever that thing on your head is. Are they costumes? What is your deal?
Lady of the Three Scots then turns away from the full arms.
Oh, is that all you wanted to know? I could tell you that much.
Hey, don't tell her our secrets.
Cool ya jets. I'm just gonna tell her who we are. But first, I want to know who she is.
Me, the big, expectant grin. The other two stare, waiting and answer, whispering in the stiff silence.
My name is Eve. I'm a...
Ranger.
I work here.
This one on answer, she gives an affirming nod, the kettle bouncing on her head.
Howdy-o, Eve. Nice to meet ya. In case you didn't catch it, I'm Yellowstone.
Points to the wall, then the painting, with the painting.
This Oath Angel is Zion. She's a cutie pie, and I love her lots.
Zion's pale cheeks turn red as she gives a little wave.
Love you Yosemite. She's like our big sister. I love her lots too, even when she's being a crab.
Yosemite says nothing. Okay. I glance at the paintings and the pair, each one with a girl.
So, are you each named after a park? Are they nicknames?
No. I'm Yellowstone.
She backs away, nurse over to Zion, whatever, hugging her from behind.
This is Zion.
She runs back to Yosemite and smacks her back. I can practically feel the loud slaps as Yosemite nearly leaps out of her
And
skin.
this is Yosemite.
Somehow the kettle stays balanced on top of her head. Through all of this. I try putting 2 and 2 together, but I keep ending up with 5.
So, what are you saying? You are the parks?
Grace crunches in. Thought. Steam evaporating seems like it could be coming from her brain itself. She looks to Yosemite for answers. Yosemite nods.
Sure, that works.
All right, I'm radioing my supervisor.
But why?
Told you no one would understand.
I don't know how you're pulling off these magic tricks, but trouble is trouble. And you three are definitely that.
I spin around and start from the desk. Panic warps Yellowstone's face as she switches between me and Yosemite. It all whistles above until finally she decides to hand it off to Yosemite.
1 sec.
As I try to pull myself away. Let's go.
No.
Okay.
Do you just not believe us?
I don't believe you, I don't trust you, and most importantly, I don't want to deal with you.
Feet drag as I tug her behind me. Her grip is surprisingly firm. Each step, she squeezes harder until I can feel her fingers pressing into my bone.
What if I can prove it?
Don't bother. Just get your painting and the rest of your stuff. We need to go away for a while.
Finger heels into the floor. Friends get more pain as she wraps another hand around my forearm.
Please! Just a chance!
Conga line passes Zion and Pup. Pup's tail wags as he looks at her, waiting for scratches and pets. Zion looks up at me with her big sorrowful eyes that only seem to get bluer as she gets sadder. Pup hovers her to dress, his earphones squat. The single heartstring inside me tingles. There's that fiddle again. So before Yelson can yank my arm from its socket. I just love that puppy too much.
30 seconds.
Yelson smirks, a twinkle sparkles in their eye. Gripping my wrist together, tighter, she turns to me.
Back in a jiffy.
Back in a jiff. Wait! Yellowstone!
Wait, like it's feeling and then darkness. Okay. We're gonna save. This is where we're gonna stop for now. Oofers. Okay. And on that note, the stream. So, thank you guys for watching. I got together, and this has been National Park Girls. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Peace. Love.